Welcome to A Mason's Work, the podcast where we review Masonic symbols and illustrate how they can be used to solve problems in everyday life. With your host, Brian Mattocks, a proud member of the Craftsman Online Media Network.
Spent a lot of time over the last several weeks or months talking about becoming true to yourself, and even how you can carry that truth into the relationships in your life. And today and this week, I want to talk a little bit more about what that means, why we do it, and kind of what the business case is, if that makes sense. And we'll start with the easy stuff, right? We want to talk about what it is like and the business case for making friends. Now, I know if you're thinking like, I cannot handle another social obligation, or if you're thinking I can't get more people involved in whatever, crisis of the moment I'm dealing with, that's all fair stuff. However, I want to point out that as social creatures, we are really not designed to be alone. Regardless of where you live, regardless of what you do for a living, regardless of how solitary your occupation or the population of your community, we as people cannot function alone. And for a very long time, I was a firm believer in this myth of the self-made man, where you had to do all of the things. You had to grow your own corn and build your own house and make your own stuff. And independent of the sort of just conceptual absurdity of that, there's logistical realities, right? If you were making your own paper, you'd have to have enough property to, grow the things you would need to make paper. And then you'd have to also eat every single day. And you can't really do that if you're preparing all your own food. So when you start looking at the idea of a self-made man, you're going to find, for as much as it's romantic as an idea, a lot of that falls apart fairly quickly. Now, that doesn't mean we can't strive for some level of independence, right? Making sure that we are meeting the needs and the commitments that we make in our society and in our family and in our groups, the people that we care about. But when it comes to this idea that you have to be able to do all things, it may make more sense, and science kind of bears this out, that the folks that kind of, for whatever this is worth, get further in life are the ones that maximize their strengths and, in a lot of ways, outsource their weaknesses, or at the very least, seek support and guidance for the things that are holding them back, so that they either can pay to make it go away, or develop the skills that they're going to need to at least keep it from becoming a super derailing kind of behavior or what have you. All of this to say that once you get past the idea that you have to be able to carry all the things all at once on your back and move to this idea that many hands make light work and that we all can do more together than we can independently, you start to become very aware that, maybe your social network is not as strong as you'd like. Maybe you need more people in it, or a better quality of relationship. Maybe you have spent a lot of time compartmentalizing your work and your home and your place of worship and your lodge, and none of those sort of relationships cross the boundaries of each other. Or maybe you have built an environment that's really strong socially in one way. You've got great relationships at work, but at home you feel like maybe a ghost in your own life. These kinds of perceptions that you're going to have, that you become aware of, are indicators that you might need to add folks to your network in what we call making friends as an adult. It's not the way it used to be when you were a kid. We'll get into a little bit more over the course of the week. But if you remember back when you were a kid, the way you made friends was usually a combination of a couple of things. First, you had people nearby, right? As a child, you can't drive. So proximity was a good indicator of who you'd become friends with. You didn't become friends typically with people halfway across the planet because it was either inconvenient to do so or just not going to work out in terms of logistics. You also tended to form friend groups around stuff you like to do. So habits of play or special interests. And so those two things typically are enough from childhood to start building relationships that stand the test of time. As you get older, those sort of dynamics change. But what makes for a good starting sort of mixture or environment for a friendship doesn't change quite as much. It's still proximity, convenience, and shared interest. We'll kind of surface more of these as we go throughout the course of the week and talk about how you can turn a shared interest maybe into a relationship that can bear some weight and help you grow and evolve and build and become and all of the stuff we talk about on the show.
The views represented in this podcast are those of the speaker alone and are not representative of any grand or subordinate lodge.
Hi, Brian here. I wanted to thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you have any suggestions or guidance for further episodes you'd like to see or hear, whatever the case may be, please don't hesitate to reach out to me at masonswork.com, and we will try and incorporate your suggestions into a future recording. Thanks.
Freemasonry teaches us that the true work is within, a lifelong journey of reflection, discipline, and discovery. At A Mason's Work, we help Masons bring out their best selves through meaningful self-inquiry and symbolic practice. From personal reflection to lodge engagement, we offer tools that turn symbols into action. Visit us at amasonswork.com. The work is within. The time is now.